Going to go straight to business news. Charles Pellegrin is joining us here on set. We're going to focus on something that's always a source of concern for investors in Europe. This is France's public finances today.
That's right, Stuart, and specifically how France's pension system contributes to the public deficit and therefore to France's debt load of over 3.3 trillion euros. We're focusing on this today because today the Cour des Comptes, France's independent public audit office, will be releasing its official assessment of the size of the pension deficit. This was commissioned by Prime Minister François Bayrou as a starting point for a renegotiation of the pension reform controversially passed by Macron in 2023, which raised the legal retirement age for a full pension from 62 years old to 64, and was a concession made to the Socialist Party in order to survive a no-confidence vote. So this assessment of how much money France's pension system is losing has been shared by the auditor with François Bayrou this morning. Those were the pictures we just saw, and will be shared with France's worker and employer unions a little bit later. Those two entities, the employer and worker unions, which in France are referred to as les partenaires sociaux, will then start negotiating in earnest on the basis of this assessment in a conclave on February 27th. Bayrou has said that all options are on the table so long as they don't damage the financial stability of France's pension system.
So at this stage then, Sean, do we have a kind of sense of what that pension deficit is going to be?
Well, this is really the crux of the matter. The numbers are supposed to give clarity to negotiators in their bid to find a fair agreement on pensions. As a reminder, the 2023 reform had led to massive protests all around France and had been forced through Parliament without a vote. The far-right and left parties have been calling for the reform to be scrapped ever since. So the COR, the Independent Pension Advisory Council, estimates that deficit to be just over 6.1 billion euros today and to keep growing till about 15 billion euros in 2030 on account of an aging population. But centrist PM Bayrou, a debt hawk, contests this estimation. He believes the deficit to be much higher, 55 billion euros to be precise, this on account of a number of taxpayer-funded subsidies that are used to narrow that deficit. If the number provided by the independent auditor is closer to Bayrou's estimation, it could really hurt calls to bring the retirement age back down from 64 years old. And even as it currently stands, that legal retirement age is still among the lowest in the European Union, even if comparisons are tricky, considering how different pension systems tend to be in different countries.
Yeah, so what are some of the options then, Charles, on the table, if you like, to reduce that deficit?
Well, France's employer and business owner representatives are eager to complement the state-funded pension, which finances pensions thanks to contributions by the working population and employers, with private pension funds. Those types of saving plans are already gaining in popularity with the French public. Brian Quinn and our colleagues at France 2 have this.
Retirement may be more than 20 years away, but this 40-year-old Frenchman is getting ready. He's just opened a Plan Épargne Retraite, a retirement savings plan, setting aside around 170 euros per month for fear that his state pension alone won't be enough to see him through retirement.
I don't know what it's going to be like when I'm retired, so I thought I might as well start a little nest egg to be a bit more comfortable when I've stopped working.
Many French workers are worried about the current pension system's ability to support them in their golden years. 48% of them are saving as well. Here, private retirement plans are called capitalization. Workers contribute to market-based investment accounts, the funds held until retirement. French business lobbies want such plans to be an official part of the future system.
We used to have 4 workers for each retired person, now it's 1.6. The birth rate has fallen and we absolutely must add individual savings to our system.
Unions say relying on private accounts will worsen inequality.
The problem with market plans is that only those with the means to save money can have a nice retirement. It goes against the egalitarian spirit of the Republic.
It's a concern that's certain to be raised as unions meet with the government to negotiate the future of France's pension system.
Brian Quinn. Let's move on with the markets.
Absolutely. We're seeing European bourses opening mostly higher, except for the FTSE 100 this Thursday. Some key earnings reports to sift through, including Airbus, who's showing much better financial health than competitor Boeing in spite of supply chain trouble in 2024. Investors also assessing the potential impact of Trump's touted tariffs on autos, drugs, and semiconductors, which could be announced in early April. And the U.S. Federal Reserve also assessing those tariffs and the increased likelihood of higher inflation, which would affect its rate-cutting cycle.
Sean Pellegrin, thank you very much. Sean Pellegrin there with the business news for us here on France 24.